The man in the grey tracksuit stands at the entrance of Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant. The maître d' looks him up and down. His lip curls. His eyes narrow with disgust. He steps forward, blocking the doorway like a bouncer at a nightclub. "I'm sorry," he says. Not sorry at all. "We're fully booked tonight." The man glances past him. Through the glass doors, empty tables gleam under soft lighting. White tablecloths, polished silverware. Not a single guest in sight. But here's what the maître d' doesn't know. The man he just turned away owns every single one of those tables. Who is this mysterious stranger? And what happens when the staff realizes their terrible mistake? Tell us where you are watching from and what time it is right now. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to your friends. That morning started like any other Tuesday. The quiet man sat in his home office, reviewing financial reports, numbers on a screen, profit margins, employee reviews. His restaurant, Sovereign, had been his passion project for 3 years, a place where elegance met substance, where food told stories and service felt like art. But lately, the numbers didn't match the vision. Customer complaints were rising. Online reviews mentioned cold service, arrogant staff. One review haunted him. Beautiful food, ugly attitudes. He'd hired a management team to run the place, trusted them, paid them well, given them everything they needed to succeed. Now he wondered if that trust was misplaced. He closed his laptop, stood up, made a decision. He would visit his own restaurant. Tonight, unannounced, dressed like a regular person off the street. Not as the owner, not as the investor, not as anyone special, just as a man looking for a table. He wanted to see what his customers saw, feel what they felt, experience the truth hidden beneath the polished surface. By 7 p.m., he stood outside Sovereign. The building looked magnificent. Stone facade, gold lettering above the entrance, warm light spilling onto the sidewalk. Couples in designer clothes stepped out of black cars and glided through the doors like royalty. He watched them for a moment, studied how the staff greeted them, all smiles, all charm. The maître d' practically bowed. Then the quiet man stepped forward. He wore a simple grey tracksuit, clean white sneakers, a black baseball cap pulled low. Nothing flashy, nothing expensive. Just comfortable clothes for a Tuesday night. The maître d' spotted him immediately. His welcoming smile vanished. His shoulders straightened, his chin lifted. The man in the tracksuit approached the entrance. "Good evening," he said, his voice calm and measured. "Table for one, please." The maître d' didn't move from the doorway. He looked the man up and down, taking in the casual clothes, the worn cap, the lack of designer labels. "I'm sorry," he said, his tone dripping with false politeness. "We're fully booked tonight." The quiet man glanced through the glass doors again. He counted 6 empty tables. Maybe 7. White tablecloths waiting, candles unlit. "Fully booked?" he repeated softly. "Completely," the maître d' said, crossing his arms. "We take reservations weeks in advance. You can't just walk in off the street." A waiter appeared behind the maître d'. Young guy, slicked back hair, expensive watch. He sized up the man in the tracksuit and smirked. "Is there a problem, Marcus?" the waiter asked. "No problem," Marcus, the maître d', replied, "just explaining our reservation policy to this gentleman." The way he said "gentleman" made it sound like an insult. The quiet man stood perfectly still. His face showed nothing. No anger, no surprise, no emotion at all. But his eyes locked onto Marcus with an intensity that made the maître d' shift his weight. Those eyes had depth, history, something ancient and knowing behind them. "I understand," the man said quietly. "Reservations. Of course." He started to turn away, then stopped. Looked back. "Tell me something," he said. "That couple that just walked in, the ones you bowed to, Did they have a reservation? Marcus hesitated. Yes, obviously. And the gentleman before them? The one in the leather jacket? All our guests have reservations, Marcus said, his voice hardening. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have actual patrons to attend to. The quiet man nodded slowly. He looked at Marcus, then at the smirking waiter, then at the hostess who had joined them, her arms crossed, her expression cold. He could have said it right then, could have told them who he was, could have watched the color drain from their faces, could have fired them on the spot. But he didn't. Instead, he stepped closer. Not threatening, just close enough that they had to really look at him, really see him. Character, he said, his voice low and deliberate, is how you treat people who can't do anything for you. He let that hang in the air. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. The waiter's smirk faded slightly. You judge people by their clothes, the man continued, by their shoes, by the car they drive or don't drive. You see a tracksuit and decide someone's not worth your time. He paused. His eyes moved from face to face. But clothes don't show you who someone is. They show you who someone wants you to think they are. The real test is how you treat the person in the tracksuit, the person you think doesn't matter. Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, couldn't find words. You'll understand soon enough, the quiet man said. Sooner than you think. He turned and walked away, calm, measured, not rushed, not angry, just done. He walked to the corner and stopped under a streetlight, pulled out his phone, made a call. Tomorrow night, he said into the phone. 8 p.m., full legal team, full inspection. Everyone on staff needs to be present. He listened for a moment. Yes, he said. Everyone. He ended the call, looked back at the restaurant one more time. Marcus stood in the doorway, watching him. Still didn't recognize him. Still thought he'd won. The man in the tracksuit smiled. Not a happy smile, a knowing smile. Tomorrow night was going to change everything. Marcus feels his stomach drop. The man walking through the door wears a charcoal suit, Italian, perfectly tailored. His shoes are polished leather. His presence commands the entire room without him saying a single word. Behind him, 4 people in business attire carry briefcases and tablets, lawyers, legal team, corporate types. But it's the man's face that makes Marcus's blood run cold. Those eyes, that intense, unwavering stare. He knows those eyes, the tracksuit. Last night, the man he turned away. Oh God. But it gets worse, because Marcus finally recognizes the face attached to those eyes. The face he's seen on movie posters, magazine covers, award shows, Denzel Washington. And he owns this restaurant. 24 hours earlier, Marcus had no idea what was coming. The day after the tracksuit incident started normal, staff meeting at 10 a.m. Marcus stood at the front, clipboard in hand, running through the evening's reservations. We have a full house tonight, he announced. 6 VIP tables, 2 celebrations, 1 proposal. The waitstaff nodded, took notes. Everyone looked sharp, professional. Also, Marcus continued, we have a scheduled inspection at 8 p.m., owner's legal team, standard quarterly review. Groans rippled through the group. I know, Marcus said. But it's just paperwork, licenses, health codes, nothing to worry about. Just be on your best behavior. The young waiter from last night, Derek, leaned back in his chair. When do we ever meet the actual owner, anyway? 3 years and the guy's a ghost. He's busy, Marcus said. Hollywood stuff. We just keep things running smooth and collect our paychecks. Sarah, the hostess, checked her phone. Speaking of smooth, did you guys see that homeless-looking dude last night? The one in the tracksuit? Marcus smirked. The one who wanted to just walk in? No reservation? No class? You handled that perfectly. Derek said. "Can't have people like that lowering our standards." They all laughed. Marcus felt proud. He'd protected the restaurant's image, kept out the riffraff, done his job. He had no idea he'd just turned away the man who signed his paychecks. The day moved fast. Prep work, table settings, menu updates. By 7 p.m., the dining room looked perfect. Crystal glasses caught the light. White tablecloths lay smooth as silk. Fresh flowers filled the air with subtle fragrance. Marcus checked his watch. 8 p.m. The inspection team would arrive soon. He straightened his tie, smoothed his jacket, put on his professional smile. "Everyone ready?" he called out. "Best foot forward." The staff assembled near the entrance. 10 waiters, 3 hostesses, 2 sommeliers. The head chef emerged from the kitchen, wiping his hands on his apron. 8 p.m. came. 8:05 passed. At 8:10, the front door opened. Marcus's welcoming smile was already in place. "Good evening. Welcome to—" The words died in his throat. The man in the charcoal suit stepped inside. Tall, commanding, those piercing eyes scanning the room like a predator sizing up prey. Marcus's brain screamed at him. That face, those eyes, where had he seen them? Then it hit him like a freight train. The tracksuit. Last night, the man he'd blocked from entering, the man he'd dismissed, the man he'd judged. But now Marcus saw past the casual clothes, saw the real person underneath. Denzel Washington stood in the doorway of his own restaurant. The legal team filed in behind him. 4 people, serious faces. They spread out, observing everything. Denzel's eyes locked onto Marcus. Not angry, not yelling, just watching, waiting. That's when Marcus knew. This wasn't a routine inspection. This was Judgment Day. Sarah, the hostess, went pale. She recognized him, too. Her hand flew to her mouth. Derek, the waiter, looked confused. Then understanding dawned. His expensive watch suddenly felt heavy on his wrist. "Mr. Washington," Marcus stammered. We didn't know. We weren't expecting." Denzel said nothing. He walked deeper into the dining room. Slowly, deliberately. His shoes clicked on the hardwood floor. Each step echoed. The staff parted like the Red Sea. He stopped in the center of the room, turned in a slow circle, took in every detail, every face, every nervous expression. The head chef stepped forward. "Sir, if there's anything—" Denzel raised one hand. The chef went silent immediately. "Last night," Denzel said, his voice quiet, but filling every corner of the room. A man walked up to this door. He was dressed casually. Nothing fancy. Just comfortable clothes for a Tuesday evening. Marcus felt sweat forming on his forehead. "He asked for a table," Denzel continued. "This man was told the restaurant was fully booked, even though 6 tables stood empty." Sarah made a small sound, almost a whimper. "This man was judged," Denzel said, "not by his character, not by his manners, not by his intentions, but by his tracksuit." He let the silence stretch. Let the tension build. Let them squirm. One of the lawyers opened a tablet, started taking notes. "When that man pointed out the empty tables," Denzel continued, "he was told about reservation policies, about standards, about how you can't just walk in off the street." Derek looked like he might be sick. "That man accepted the explanation," Denzel said. "He didn't argue, didn't make a scene. Didn't pull out his ID or his business card or demand special treatment." He walked toward Marcus. Slow, measured, each step deliberate. "But he did say something," Denzel continued. "Something about character, about how you treat people who can't do anything for you. Remember that, Marcus?" Marcus couldn't speak, could barely breathe. He nodded. "That man," Denzel said, stopping directly in front of the maître, "was me." The words hung in the air like a guillotine blade. Marcus opened his mouth. Nothing came out. His career flashed before his eyes. His apartment lease, his car payment, everything. "Sir," he finally managed. I We're so sorry. We didn't recognize— You didn't recognize me, Denzel interrupted, his voice still quiet, still controlled. That's the point. You weren't supposed to recognize me. I came to see the truth, and you showed me exactly what I needed to see. He turned to address the entire staff. Every one of you had a choice last night. You chose judgment. You chose arrogance. You chose to treat a human being like garbage based on his clothes. The lawyers kept typing, recording everything. Now here's what happens next, Denzel said. He paused. The silence stretched. Everyone held their breath. Marcus felt tears forming. This was it. They were all getting fired. Right here. Right now. In front of the legal team. Witnesses to document everything. Denzel's eyes swept across the assembled staff, reading faces, measuring reactions, calculating something in that brilliant mind of his. Then he spoke 3 words that changed everything. Close the restaurant. The words echo through the dining room like a death sentence. Sarah starts crying. Derek's face goes white. The chef looks at the floor. Marcus feels his world collapsing. 3 years of work. Gone. Just like that. But Denzel isn't finished. Close it, he repeats. For the next 2 hours. Cancel tonight's reservations. Lock the doors. Because everyone here is about to get an education. Wait. What? Marcus looks up. Confusion replaces panic. They're not fired? One of the lawyers steps forward. Hands Marcus a phone. Start making calls. Every reservation tonight gets rescheduled. Tell them there's an emergency kitchen situation. Full compensation. Free meal next week. Marcus takes the phone with shaking hands. Starts dialing. 20 minutes later, the restaurant is empty. Doors locked. Lights dimmed except for the main dining area. Denzel stands at the center. The staff forms a circle around him. 10 waiters, 3 hostesses, 2 sommeliers, the head chef, all of them terrified, all of them waiting. The legal team sits at a corner table, observing, recording, witnesses. Sit down, Denzel says. The staff exchanges glances, sits. They pull out chairs at the nearest tables, awkward, uncertain. Denzel walks slowly around the circle, hands clasped behind his back. His presence fills the room like gravity. 3 years ago, he begins, I opened this restaurant with a vision. A place where people felt valued, where service meant something deeper than just taking orders, where every guest, regardless of who they were, received dignity. He stops, looks at Marcus. Last night, you violated that vision. You looked at a man in a tracksuit and decided he wasn't good enough. You saw casual clothes and made a judgment about his worth. His value, his right to exist in this space. Marcus squirms in his seat. But here's what you didn't understand, Denzel continues. That man could have been anyone, a teacher, a construction worker, a single father saving up for one nice meal, someone who worked 3 jobs just to afford your menu prices. He moves to Sarah. You laughed about it, he says softly. Called him homeless-looking, made jokes. You turned a human being into entertainment. Sarah wipes tears from her face. We're so sorry, she whispers. Sorry isn't enough, Denzel says. Not cruel, just honest. Sorry is what you say when you spill wine. This was bigger than that. This was about character. He returns to the center of the circle. I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, he says. My mother cleaned houses. My father worked as a minister and later at the water department. We didn't have money. We didn't have fancy clothes. But we had something more valuable. He pauses. Lets that sink in. We had dignity. And people who understood that dignity isn't about what you wear or what you drive. It's about how you carry yourself, how you treat others, how you show up in the world. Derek raises his hand slightly, like a kid in school. Yes? Denzel acknowledges him. Mr. Washington, we learned about hospitality in training. We know the rules. We thought we were protecting the restaurant's image." Denzel's eyes narrow. Not angry. Focused. "Protecting the image," he repeats, "by keeping out people who don't look wealthy enough?" Derek nods miserably. "Let me tell you something about image," Denzel says. His voice drops lower. More intense. "Image is a lie. Image is what you show the world when you want to hide the truth. What I saw last night wasn't image, it was truth. The truth about what happens here when nobody's watching." He walks to one of the empty tables, runs his hand along the white tablecloth. This place was supposed to be about excellence, real excellence, the kind that shows up in every interaction, the kind that treats a man in a tracksuit with the same respect as a man in a tuxedo. The head chef clears his throat. "Sir, what do you want us to do?" Denzel turns, looks at him, really looks at him. "I want you to understand something fundamental," he says. "Every person who walks through that door is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Every single one. The woman in the designer dress might be drowning in debt. The man in the expensive suit might have just lost his family. You never know what people are carrying." He points to the entrance. "That door is a threshold. When people cross it, they're trusting you with something precious. Their time, their money, their hope for a good evening. Maybe it's an anniversary. Maybe it's a first date. Maybe it's the one night this year they can afford to eat somewhere nice." His voice rises slightly. More passion, more power. "And you want to turn them away because they're wearing a tracksuit." The silence is absolute. "In my movie The Equalizer," Denzel continues, "I played a man who helped people nobody else would help. People society overlooked. People judged by their appearance. And you know what that character understood? That every person deserves a chance. Every person deserves respect. Every person deserves dignity." He moves closer to the staff, his presence overwhelming. "I'm not that character," he says. "I'm not going to fight your battles for you, but I am going to give you the same thing he gave people. A chance." Marcus looks up. Hope flickers in his eyes. "A chance?" he asks. "One chance," Denzel confirms. "All of you. Starting right now, this restaurant changes. The culture changes. The attitude changes. Everything changes." He pulls a chair from a table, sits down, eye level with his staff now, no longer standing above them, sitting with them. "Here's how it works," he says. "From this moment forward, every guest who walks through that door gets treated like royalty. I don't care if they're wearing a tuxedo or a tracksuit, a ball gown or jeans, Gucci or Goodwill. Every single person." The staff nods, hanging on every word. You greet them with a smile, a real smile. You look them in the eye. You make them feel seen, valued, important, because they are important. Every human being who walks through that door matters. He stands again, paces slowly. If someone can't afford the full menu, you help them find something in their budget. You don't judge, you don't smirk, you help. If someone's nervous because this is their first time at a fine restaurant, you put them at ease, you guide them, you make them feel comfortable. Sarah raises her hand. "What if they're rude to us?" Denzel smiles, small, knowing. "Then you remember this moment," he says. "You remember how it felt to be judged, to be dismissed, to be treated as less than human. And you choose to be better than that." He looks at each person individually. This restaurant is about more than food. It's about humanity, connection, grace. You're not just serving meals, you're serving people. Human beings with stories and struggles and hopes and dreams. Derek speaks up. "How do we know if we're doing it right?" "Ask yourself one question," Denzel says. "Would I treat my grandmother this way? Would I want someone treating my mother this way? My child? If the answer is no, then change your approach." The legal team stands. One of them approaches Denzel, whispers something. He nods. "You have 1 week," Denzel announces. 1 week to prove this culture change is real. I'll be watching. Sometimes you'll know I'm here. Sometimes you won't. But I'll be watching. He walks toward the door, stops, turns back. "And if I ever walk in here, again, dressed casually, and anyone treats me or anyone else with anything less than full respect and dignity," he pauses, lets the threat hang unspoken, "we'll be having a very different conversation." The weight of those words settles over the room. Marcus stands. "Mr. Washington, thank you. We won't let you down." Denzel studies him for a long moment. "Don't thank me yet," he says. "Thank me when you've earned it. When you've changed. When you've become the people this restaurant needs you to be." He unlocks the door, steps out into the night. The staff sits in stunned silence. Then the chef stands. "We open tomorrow at 5 p.m. We have 16 hours to become different people. Let's get to work." 3 weeks later, Denzel returns. Grey tracksuit, black baseball cap, worn sneakers. He walks up to the entrance at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. The busiest night of the week. Marcus sees him coming. Recognition flashes immediately. But this time, something is different. Marcus's face lights up. Genuine warmth, real smile. "Good evening, sir," Marcus says, opening the door wide. "Welcome to Sovereign. It's wonderful to see you again." No judgment, no hesitation, no sneer, just respect. "Table for one," Marcus continues. "We have a perfect spot by the window. Please come in." Denzel steps inside, looks around. The restaurant is packed, every table full. The energy is different now, warmer, more alive. A waiter approaches. It's Derek. He's smiling too, no longer smirking, actually smiling. "Can I get you something to drink, sir?" Derek asks. Denzel watches these young men, sees the change, feels it. "Water is fine," he says quietly. "Thank you." "Of course." "I'll be right back." Denzel sits at his table, watches the staff work. They're attentive, warm, genuine. A couple at the next table is dressed casually, jeans and t-shirts, the waiter treating them with the same care as the couple in designer clothes 3 tables over. Sarah approaches. "Your menu, sir. Our special tonight is pan-seared halibut with lemon butter sauce. Can I answer any questions?" "No questions," Denzel says. "This is perfect." She smiles and leaves. He pulls out his phone, sends a text to his legal team. "Culture change confirmed. Investment secure. Continue operations." Sometimes karma isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about transformation. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't breaking people down. It's building them back up into who they're meant to be. Denzel Washington taught his staff that lesson. And they learned it well. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Comment below and tell us which part of the story you enjoyed the most. And don't forget to check out the 2 new life stories recommended on your screen right now.